Hey guys, Mr. BXRP here, and welcome back. Today is July 15th of 2020. Got a bunch to talk about, but before I do, this is the second time I'm doing this video because my iMac, my Apple computer, has died on me, and it's on its last leg. And just found out last night it's $600 to repair it, and I'm not going to do that. So I just ordered a new computer about an hour ago and won't get it till next week. So hopefully this time it's going to work, and I have my fingers crossed. But funny thing, on the way back from Best Buy buying a new computer, my banker called me and said, "Hey, just want to see if there's anything I can do for you." And I'm like, "Well, when are you guys going to reopen?" He goes, "Well, we're here. We've been here all along." And I'm like, "Well, why don't you unlock the darn door so I can come in and do my banking?" And literally, they just don't let anybody in. They're like, "No, you have to do it through the drive-through." And I'm like, "Well, I'm thinking to myself, these banks are really teeing themselves up for shutting down, and I think that's part of what's going on here. I think these banks are going to be shutting down, and you're going to see a lot less banks when this is over, guys. Anyway, let's jump right into it. So on the market, and I'm at Coin Paprika, the market cap's about at 278 billion. Bitcoin's at 92.52, and Ethereum's at 238. Tether holding strong at $1. XRP is just under 20 cents, and the big crusher this week and this month and this year is Chainlink. Chainlink is at $8.60. It's up almost 37% in the last 7 days. So Chainlink is doing strong. It's doing really well. Before we get any further, a couple things. One is subscribe to my channel. I have made it free today for everyone to subscribe. So if you're not subscribed, hit that sub button. There will be no cost by YouTube. It's prepaid by Mr. B himself, so go ahead and hit it right now. Secondly, there's a ton of scams going on. Don't fall for scams. Don't follow them. Don't send anybody crypto thinking you're going to get more crypto back. They're tagging these ads, these scam ads, in front of people's videos. So don't let it happen. Don't fall for it, guys. And YouTube had posted on Twitter that they're aware of it and they're taking care of it, but I still hear it. It's still happening. So keep your eyes open for it and be real careful. Okay, this video is very hard to hear, and I think what I'm going to do is, listen, here's the thing. It's a real bad video, so don't put in the comment section below that the video was horrible. I know it's horrible. I'm telling you it's horrible, but there's something I want you to hear. And it's kind of a rant from Charles Hoskinson talking about how Ben Losky came over from, he was the head of the Bit license in New York, and now he's working with Ripple, and how everything Ripple is doing is against what cryptocurrency is all about, because they're making banks richer. So he's taking a big shot at Ripple, but I'm going to try and take you toward the end and let you hear what he says.
The state to basically arbitrarily punish those who the state disagrees with for financial crimes. And now it's what all regulators do, just after burning the system down, go in private industry and cash out at $600 an hour. So it's a very philosophical thing, and it's one of the moves that I thought badly delegitimized Ripple. And I understand why they do it, because they want to go do an IPO and all that stuff. And I wish them well. I don't like the guys over there, Dave and Chris, and so forth. I just think that putting that on your board is a sign that you're prepared to compromise when we shouldn't as an industry. We need to transcend. I'm not in the business here to make banks richer. I'm in the business here to put banks out of business.
So he's taken that mantra, that cryptocurrency mantra of that anarchy mantra of we're here to put banks out of business, and that's just shots fired for Ripple. It really is. Now here's the thing. I wonder if that has anything to do with this tweet, because the moment I heard, the digital asset investor, by the way, posted this on Twitter. The moment I heard that, I thought about a tweet that I saw by David Schwartz just a couple of days ago, and he said, "I'm still not fully convinced that smart contracts are going to be a big deal. They're very exciting. They're a very exciting area, but to date, the only real success is stable coins. If I wasn't so focused on Ripple, I probably would be building tokenless smart contract systems." I don't know if that pissed off Charles Hoskinson, if this has anything to do with it, if it's related at all. I don't know. But apparently what David's saying is, smart contracts don't need tokens. They just need blockchain, is essentially what he's saying. And that may have fueled this battle, if that's what it really is. But I thought that was interesting. Wanted to bring it to your attention. Okay, so Crypto Wolf at XRP Crypto Wolf posted this on Twitter. We went over this the other day, but I'm going to just revisit it for a moment. G20 countries finally laid the regulatory groundwork for accepting digital currency payments. It was announced on July 11th, but the changes are expected to begin in October, presumably at the G20 finance the meetings in Washington, D.C. So he posted this the other day, and the reason why I bring it up is, the Mark Carney had said last year, and he was literally on U.S. soil. I think they were in Jackson Hole, and Bank of England, Mark Carney, a new virtual currency could ease reliance on U.S. dollar. A central bank-supported digital currency could replace the dollar as the global hedge currency. I'm not even going to play the video because that explains it all. But he said this on U.S. territory. He is actually no longer the head of the Bank of England. He's now an economist. But he was talking about this, and the reason why I went back to this video and wanted to bring that up, and it was posted by Bank XRP at Bank XRP, is because this came out today. Today. Bank of England eyes groundbreaking new currency as key part of Britain's future. Bank of England's governor has revealed a new form of cryptocurrency is being eyed up as Britain prepares to reshape its future post-Brexit. Guys, we are moving. This is happening, okay? This is happening. Digital assets are happening. You're in the right space. You're paying attention. Most people don't have a clue. This is going down, and there is so much evidence to this fact. Let's see, it was Brad Kimes. Brad Kimes posted this on Twitter yesterday. Actually, he made a video. This is the best video. I mean, this best video I've seen in the last couple of days. You got to go see Brad Kimes' video. This is Brian Brooks from the OCC, and Brian Brooks. I'm gonna play some of this video, and I want you to hear this. Brian Brooks used to work for Coinbase, and now he was hired by the United States government. He's the comptroller of the currency, and I want you to hear what he has to say about digital assets. So I'm gonna play it right now.
Well, look, I've been in financial services at some level my whole career, and one thing I've seen just in the course of my kind of professional lifetime is over time consumer preferences change, and then technology changes, and then eventually institutions have to change with it or die. And so, having come out of a normal banking legal practice long ago, I found myself at one point running a bank, and then I found myself investing in fintech companies, and then I discovered crypto, all of which is about sort of the evolution toward the future, right? And so, banks have been our financial intermediaries for hundreds and hundreds of years. But they weren't created the way they are now, and they don't have to be the way they are now forever. So the way I would talk about crypto is really about the future of money. Money transacts through a financial services system that I regulate, and the historical way we had a financial services system was through banks. One of the things I'm really focused on here, and I know we'll talk more about that, is the idea that banks and the concept of what a bank is has to evolve to meet the times. I think
banks have to evolve, and let me tell you something. I think the difference between a bank and a cryptocurrency exchange are going to be indistinguishable in the future. I don't think you're going to be able to tell. I think they're going to be one in the same, because if you listen to what he says, you're going to be able to hold cryptocurrencies in your bank account. Some people won't like that idea because it's not my keys, it's not my crypto. But some people are going to like the idea of putting their crypto in a bank because it might be federally insured, and that would be big. But listen to what he has to say. And Brad's going to do a lot of commentary in here, and it's all fantastic. And I'm not going to step on top of it. I'm going to let it roll, but we're going to go a few more minutes here, guys.
So came about at a certain moment in time for a reason. It happened just as the financial crisis was unfolding, just as there was the first inkling of a lack of confidence in fiat money, not just in the U.S., but around the world. And while the great news is that the U.S. economy remains strong and that the U.S. dollar remains kind of the central reserve currency of the world, there are more reasons than ever to believe that money has to evolve in a bunch of different ways. That's what crypto is all about. So I've been working on the evolution of financial services my whole career. Crypto is kind of the apotheosis of that. And the fact that now I get to sort of oversee the system that one day will include crypto is pretty exciting.
Whoa. To oversee the system that will one day include crypto. There's no doubt in his mind. This is happening.
Brian, that's fantastic. For at least the past 2 years that I've been at the Blockchain Association, obviously regulatory issues have been on the front lines, and we've heard a lot about the SEC and the CFTC, also FinCEN, but it wasn't really until you showed up at the OCC that people started talking about it. And I think the point you made about banks needing to evolve is very important. But can you kind of talk maybe a little bit more specifically about some of the ways that crypto companies can interact with your agency?
Listen very carefully to what Brian says here. This is a stream of incredible insight and information of what is about to happen in this space.
And what power do you have over crypto?
So, Kristen, first of all, remember the good thing about crypto is nobody has power over it. That's the whole point of crypto. I know that's why we're all here, and I respect that fact a lot. What I would also say is one of my missions at the OCC is never to see another news story that says ... an obscure regulatory agency, the Office of the Controller of the Currency. So you all can help me dispel that idea. The way that the OCC works in the ecosystem and the way that crypto companies will eventually come to work with us, I think, is we are the chartering agency for banks. None of the other agencies that you mentioned charter companies. They certainly don't charter banks, which are the central way that value is exchanged in our society. And so if what crypto aspires to be is an alternative way of transmitting value across networks versus through centralized banks, that has to start someplace. It has to start with the real world that exists today, and that's the banking system. So I think over the next few weeks and few months, the OCC is going to start speaking to crypto in some very direct ways, starting with the simple and evolving into more complex ideas. We're going to have to say, for example, what we think about national banks being able to custody crypto assets, because
we're going to be speaking to crypto in very specific ways. And over the coming weeks and months, we're going to have to speak to the fact of whether banks can custody crypto. I mean, this is just powerful what he's saying. This isn't a YouTuber or a podcaster. This is Brian Brooks, who's heading up the OCC, the national charter for, and going to write the federal charter for the entire banking system and release it in the fall, he says.
As you know, people who hold crypto, especially people who hold large amounts of crypto, want it custodied in a way that's safe and secure. They don't want their private keys stolen.
Damn
Historically,
right.
banks have been the most important custodian for other assets. So what do we think about that activity for crypto?
It's
There's
coming.
a huge issue around digitized dollars. This has been a subject of central bank research in England and China and elsewhere for several years now. The U.S. has had a pilot, sort of a study on central bank digital currency for a while. The question is, what role should the banking system play with digitized dollars?
Now, that was interesting because he said the U.S. has had a pilot on digitized dollars, not papers, but a pilot. Now, I tell you, up until now, I've heard John Carlo talk about they need to do a pilot, and they could do it in the military for veterans and checks and digitizing that. But it sounded like to me, Brian Brooks is aware that they've been piloting digital dollars somewhere, somewhere before all of this. I thought that was interesting. Let's keep going.
Should, for example, banks be able to run the reserve accounts for stablecoin projects?
Mm-hmm.
Should banks be able to accept deposits in stablecoin? Should banks be able to accept payments of obligations?
It's coming, guys. It's all happening.
Because, as you said at the outset, I have to administer the national banking system. And then you get to the really interesting questions.
This
like,
is it.
For the other crypto tokens, for Bitcoin and other things that aren't stable value instruments, what are those things? Are they money? Do they have characteristics of money?
Are they money? Do they have characteristics of money? When they define what cryptocurrencies are going to be classified as, that is going to be the day. I look forward to the day that my phone rings and my family and my friends and everyone I got invested in XRP and digital assets as a whole, they call me up and say I was right. And I know a lot of you feel the same way too. So anyway, this is really interesting. I'm not going to play any more. Thank you to Brad Kimes and whoever shared that video with him. I know it was shared with him by someone else. Thank you everyone for sharing that. That was outstanding. Which brings me to the last little piece of video I want to play, which was Steve Mnuchin back in mid-February of this year. And I want you to hear what he said, and then I'm going to make my final point. And this is just about 50 seconds.
Cryptocurrency. Well, first of all, thank you and thank the committee for the generous support on us funding increases in these areas over the last several years. We've really built up a very dedicated career staff. And specifically on cryptocurrencies, we are spending a lot of time on this on both an interagency basis and with the regulators. We're about to roll out some significant new requirements at FinCEN. We want to make sure that technology moves forward, but on the other hand, we want to make sure that cryptocurrencies aren't used for the equivalent of old Swiss secret number bank accounts. So we share your concerns, and you'll be seeing a lot of work coming out very quickly.
So, that very quickly was back in mid-February, but very quickly for the government is different than very quickly for you and me. This brings me to my point. Ripple said 2020 is going to be the year of the digital asset. Guys, the government is lining up. Everyone is lining up. Everything is coming together. Not only the United States government, but the governments around the world, the G20, the Bank of England, the United States. Everything is lining up. When this happens, it almost seems like it's all going to happen at once. And I hear a lot of October, the G20 in October. It just seems like this, the last quarter of this year is when this is going to get really, really exciting. Place your bets, pick your horses. I mean, everybody knows my number one horse is XRP. I mean, if we're right, we're going to be so right. And it's very, very, very exciting. So wanted to share that with you. I just think everything's moving in the right direction. I just get that feeling. And it's been 3 years. 3 years I've been here. I've been holding XRP for 3 years. And I get the feeling that we're getting closer and closer. And I still think that Ripple was right. And I still think that 2020 is the year. So moving on. All right, Peter Voss had posted this on Twitter back in early July about Coinbase talking about their IPO in late 2020 or early 2021, which I think is exciting stuff. And Coinbase is doing all the right things. Today they added XRP to the British pound pair. So they are really moving in the right direction. They're teeing themselves up for going public. Which I think is exciting, and we know Ripple plans to go public as well. We don't know when. I don't know if Coinbase is going to be before them. It is certainly IPO season, and companies are starting to pop off an IPO now. But it will be interesting to see. I'm a big fan of Coinbase, and I like Coinbase. I use Coinbase. I use Uphold. I really like Coinbase and Coinbase Pro. I talk about it all the time in my videos. For those of you who don't have a Coinbase account, just so you know, if you have a Coinbase account, you automatically have a Coinbase Pro account. A Coinbase Pro account is more of an order book to where you can set predetermined price points, and you can set them and forget them. So if you decide that I'm going to sell XRP at the next all-time high, which would be $3.85, let's just say, you could preset up those orders so that if you're sleeping and it happens, that order gets taken care of. So the nice thing is, if you have a Coinbase account, you automatically have a Coinbase Pro account. It's a separate platform, but it runs off of your same account, so to speak, so your same login credentials. So for those of you who don't have one, I wanted you to know how it works. If you don't have one and you want one, I do want you to know I have a link below in the description of this video. If you'd like to get a Coinbase account, please check out my link. I would appreciate it. It is a nice platform. It's really, really nice to use, and that's why it's so popular. This, excuse me, this was posted by Ivan on Tech. Breaking PayPal confirms crypto features. We keep hearing about PayPal doing crypto in the future. And this is going to be absolutely massive. I think I read somewhere that PayPal has 350 million users or 325 million users. So that is going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to bring a lot of people to the party, and I hope this really happens and it happens soon. The last thing I want to show you, I normally show you something funny, but I came across this on Twitter and I was amazed. It is the artwork of this man's tattoo that I think is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to let that video roll while I read my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a tattoo artist, and I'm not a crypto expert. These are my opinions only. Don't make any financial decisions based on anything I say. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Please like and subscribe. And if you are still not subscribed, come on, give me a sub. That would be fantastic. And also share my videos with anybody who you think might like them. And I thank you all for being here today, and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.